and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm excited about cooking for you today because a recipe that a lot of times you think, how can I make them homemade and you don't deep fry them, Annette? How is this possible? Well, we're going into book 3 today and we're making these little beauties, spring rolls. I love spring rolls. And so this is why I made this recipe up, because I wasn't prepared to go in and have the deep fried ones because they make me feel a bit sick. I can't do deep fried stuff anymore. And I think that by having these guilt-free recipe for you, you're going to come into my world and realise how great they are. I make them a lot of times when people are coming over, great for parties, finger food, as an entree. Bill and I make them sometimes and have salad with them for lunch. That's how obsessed we are with the spring rolls. But before I get into all this exciting stuff, I just want to give you a heads up. It's not too late to join my 6-week spring challenge. It's a weight loss challenge coming up next week. It starts on Monday, 16th of October. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be awesome. And if you want support and help and guidance on how to quit dieting, I want you to come into my world of healthy living and let me show you how to do it. I've helped thousands do it. Why can't it be you as well? So if you want more info, go to simplytoogood.com.au/membership. Can't wait to see you in there. All right, spring rolls. I've got my oven preheated to 210. Yes, 210. I repeat that, hot. Now I've got 100 grams of mince, and it's pork mince. You could use any mince you like, really, chicken, beef, veal, I don't mind. But traditionally, you know, people like pork with spring rolls. And I often do them without the mince, so they're vegetarian. And you don't, because it's 100 grams, it's not a big deal. We're going to do cabbage, carrots, celery, shallots. I've got my little canned bamboo shoots here ready to chop. I've got a little bit of sugar, stock powder. We're using the chicken because with the pork. I've got fish sauce, salt, less salt, soy sauce. Try and say that real quick. I've got oyster sauce, garlic, ginger, a little bit of sugar, and we've got the Singapore noodles. You want 3/4 a cup of Singapore noodles, and that goes in. But the best thing ever is, of course, your spring roll wraps. You need them. They're frozen, aren't they, Bill? Yeah, Bill bought them for me when he did the shopping, and they're frozen. They've defrosted now. You just got to be a little bit careful with them, but they're not hard to work with. If you can do filo pastry, you won't have any trouble with these, I'm telling you now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up my wok. Even though this is only a little bit of mince, I'm going to put all the other vegetables in, and you actually cook them off so that really they just don't take too long in the oven then. So cooking spray. And 100 grams, as I said, of the mince. Now you're going to cook that and then take it out, put it, I've got a little glass bowl ready to go, and then what I'll do is, as I've done the vegetables, I will then cook them off. Wash my hands. So I'm multitasking, I'm cooking them while I'm prepping up as well. Now we're going to do the cabbage first. Now I've got a bit of chopping, but I wanted to show you, for those that aren't real experienced in the kitchen, when it says shredded, I really want you to not go like this. I want you close. Shredded means close and thin, all right? So you just want to, while I'm doing this, I'm just going to cook off this pork. Actually, I did them once and I cooked some prawns and I chopped them up smallish, not too small. They were amazing. And I had some sweet chili sauce, and they were good, I gotta tell you. So you can do whatever you want with these sort of things, you know. Use your imagination, because you'll see a lot of times I do variations for recipes, and that's where you get to make the base recipe, but you add maybe a different protein, you know, or something like that. That just gives you options. That's nearly done. All right, so now when you're shredding, see how I've got these big, thick pieces here? I don't favour them when I do shredding because they are such a big white part of the cabbage. All right, so let's just get that off. Look, pork mince cooked. Right, so I'm just going to leave that there. I might just put a little bit of water in it just to clean it out, and I'll pop it back in a minute. I just like to do that. All right, pork mince, let's put that over there. Let's talk veggies now. We want 2 cups of shredded cabbage. So I'm going to go down thinly, thin as you can, because you don't want really big chunks of cabbage in your spring rolls. So just really thin. If they get a bit thick, just chop it up. And I'm going to cut that in half so it's not too long and stringy. And I'm going to go down this way because I really love the green. As I said, I'm avoiding that really big white part. Stem, would you call it a stem, Bill? You know, this bit here, no. We'll just call it chunky. Okay, look, that might be enough. Where's 2 cups? Yep, actually that's good. 2 cups done. So I'm going to put the vegetables in the bowl as we go. Now I'm going to just get, can you grab me a plate, Bill, so I can just put this on, because we want to use this, we don't want to waste it. Just hold it up over here for me. Thank you. Let's just get the cabbage on there. Curry cabbage coming my way for dinner. Love curry cabbage, book 1. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the carrot, we're going to cut up the celery and the bamboo shoots, and they're all going to be cut in strips. So what I do first is I cut down one side, yeah, and that way then I can sit them flat because they're a bit rolly otherwise. Now I'm going to cut them in thin strips, so I might just do one more so that they're like that. And we're going to cut in half and then thin. Go as close as you can. If you can see, thin. You want thin strips of carrot, and we want a cup. So what I love about your homemade spring rolls, they've actually got ingredients in them apart from cabbage. How many times have you got a spring roll and it's got nothing in it? I think what really people love about spring rolls is the flavour of it being fried. So when I was making this recipe up, I realised that how am I going to bring the flavour without frying them? And I did quite a few tests on it, but I was determined. And when I'm determined, nothing's going to stop me. So what I found, though, was the best way to make really good spring rolls, if they're not fried, is to give flavour. Lots of flavour. And that's what I've done. There's a lot in the spring rolls because I want them banging so that you're never going to go back to the deep fried ones. Anything deep fried to me, I call it heart attack on a plate. And for people that have heart disease, that have got diabetes and that, you've really got to watch those saturated fats, yeah? Now, you don't want to overdo it because otherwise there'll be too much filling, but push it down until we get it to a cup. Can you imagine baking? Can you guess how much fat's in a normal spring roll? Well, a normal spring roll would have at least, I reckon, 10 grams of fat in a little spring roll. And they would use probably a fatty mince, whereas I've bought the lean pork. I reckon that's good. Okay, in the bowl, You can go with the cabbage. Let's do the celery. And we're doing them again in thin strips. I always cut that end bit off. Bill says, why do you waste it? And we're going to cut them in thin strips. Bill says I should cut them. Yeah, you're right. That would make it much better. Sorry. Thank you, Billy. Bill's a master chef, by the way. That's why I listen to him. But domestic cooking is all me. He's won awards in competitions and that when he was a chef. And we met when he was an apprentice chef. Yes, we go back away. So as you can see, nice thin strips. So as I said, about 10 grams of fat, but probably about 180 calories. That's the thing. I know I don't often talk about calories, but it's still important to know what they are. Now, can you give me a drum roll, because I'm going to tell you about my spring rolls. I don't think I'll bother with that one. Now, did I hear a drum roll? So my spring rolls are half a gram of fat, yes, per spring roll, half a gram of fat. Sorry, I'm a bit loud, aren't I? I'm just getting excited. And has 89 calories. So that's why we often have them as a lunch, because they're so good. With some salad, Asian dressing on it, living the life. And really, this is no big deal. I'm happy to do this chopping because of what I get. And I get fabulous. All right, let's keep going. I didn't want to shortchange you today. I wanted to chop everything so you could just see what I mean when it says thinly sliced or shredded. How are we going? I reckon that one here, and we are done with the celery. Don't put mushrooms in them because they're too wet. They will make the mixture too mushy. There we go. Now we're going to do the bamboo shoots, all right? This is half a cup. I've measured it, and that's the can of what we're using. It's a Vulcan. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab a few of them and they are fairly soft. They're not like the others that are raw. These have been in vinegar water. And I'm just going to grab them and just give them a rough, thin strips. And then all we've got to do is the shallots. And all I've just got to do is cook them off, and that's why it takes only about, 20 minutes or so in the oven to cook them, because you're basically just browning them, cooking them off. All right. I'm so excited about the challenge starting soon. I hope you've signed up, because it's a perfect time to get ready for summer, isn't it? And so many people are, over this whole dieting stuff. And if you're like that, then come and join me, because I don't diet. I always say that's a dirty four-letter word. To me, it's all about living healthy and having spring rolls, guilt-free. Yes. All right. That looks pretty good. Right, they're going to go in the mix. There's it. And then all we have to do is the shallots. Now, with the shallots, we're just going to thinly slice. So we want half a cup. As I said, thin. You don't want a big chunk of onion in your mouth. And then we're going to start cooking. I'm going to get mussels from today. go up and use that green. Don't just use the white. It's just as good as the white as the green. And we want half a cup. There we go. I reckon that is going to do it. They go in as well. All right. Are we good? Just leave that there. That can go in the bin. All right, let's cook. I need my wok again, so it's up to you if you want. I just like to give it a bit of a clean out. Starting fresh. Always use the rice bran spray in the woks, in the Neoflam woks. I love this wok. I use it for so many things. It's just so fabulous. All right, so we're going to turn that up. So let's put in the ginger and the garlic. You want half a teaspoon of each. And I'm using, you crush it, but I'm using the jar because I'm lazy. If you want to use fresh, you can, up to you. Oh, smell that ginger. Right, so let's put that all in. Just move that around. I want that garlic and ginger to infuse into the rest of the veggies. There we go. So you can see it's a lovely mix, isn't it, for spring rolls? And we will add the pork back once this has been cooked. So, cook it down a little bit. Doesn't take long, as you know, cabbage really reduces down quite quickly. Let's put in the other flavours. We want 2 teaspoons of chicken stock powder. 1, 2. We want a teaspoon of fish sauce. This is where you really kick up the flavour. Teaspoon of the low salt soy. I always use the kikkoman with the green on it. Whee, there we go, generous Annette. And we want 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. It's always a bit harder to get out, that's okay. 1 and 2. See, so you've really got some flavours in here. I'm not relying on the frying to give the flavour. I want the filling to really bang it up. All right. And of course, we want the sugar. So it's a teaspoon of sugar. That's just to balance it off, to give it a little bit of a smoothness. Just that little bit of sugar really makes a difference. Oh, get back in there. Toss them, and that's what I love about the wok. You can actually toss things quite easily and nothing's sticking, which is awesome. I wonder what the dietitian says about this recipe. What does she say? Let's just read our diet, and this is here. Each recipe has a dietitian tip. Lisa Cochran used to be one of the head dietitians for Diabetes Australia, wrote this. An excellent alternative to takeaway spring rolls loaded with vegetables containing antioxidants, vitamins, minerals and fibre. Very nice. All right, so now once they're cooked, let's have a look at them. Let's look. See how the cabbage is really reduced down. We're going to add the pork back in. And mix that in together. Actually, I don't need that. Oven's preheated. What is it? 210, that's right. Perfect. Now, let's put in the noodles. Remember, these are the Singapore noodles. And it was 3/4 of a cup. And there's our filling to make 12 fabulous, simply too good to be true spring rolls. Yum. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to weigh the mixture because I want to divide it into 12 because otherwise I might do some spring rolls that are really little and some are too big because it's hard to guess, isn't it? So there's my little trusty scales. I might put it back in this actually. And pour it in. I've got it on 0. Have you got your calculator ready, Mr. Sym? There we go. That's 712 grams of filling. Divide by 12, Billy. 59. Couldn't it have been 60? No, because it can't. All right, 59. So I'm going to just do that individually in the bowl. So 59, let's do it. 59. Whoop. So, takes a bit longer, I know, but I like to get it right. All right, so we're going to get our spring rolls out. Oh, I've got my tray. Let's spray it. And what we're going to do is you're going to get one sheet, and they dry out really quickly, okay? So don't just leave them sitting on the bench for too long. Keep them in the wrapper until you need them. Now you have the point facing you, okay? It tells you about this in the recipe. And then you put your filling at the top point. Yeah. Now we're going to fold that over. Then encase it on each side so the filling stays in, and then firmly you roll your spring roll up. Put the loose piece on the bottom. So let's do that again. 59. Oh, 59. So you're going to do this 12 times. As I said, just be a bit gentle with the wraps. But to me, I reckon they're easier to work with than phyllo. I don't find phyllo hard to work with, but at the end of the day, you've got to, yeah, some people do. Now I'm going to make sure there's some pork mince in there because I don't want to get the bit that doesn't have any. Over the top, roll it up. You don't have to seal it with anything. You just have to roll it together. I mean, now you can see it's homemade. I've got 2 different sizes. Doesn't matter. Let's do it again. I probably won't do the whole 12 in front of you because otherwise we'll be here till Christmas. And every now and then mix it up so you're getting the juice as well included in with your mix. Okay. Right, let's do one more. So gently peel it off, point side at you. Mix at the top part of the point. Fold the top over. And then encase on either side, the right and the left, and roll them up. Here we go. All right, I'm going to finish these off, get them in the oven, and I'll show you the finished product. Actually, when they're in the oven, they will take about 15 minutes, maybe 20. You just want to be golden brown. So I'll come back then when I've got them all done. But let's do one more. All right, let's do one more. I knew you were saying it. Annette, do one more. I could just feel your vibe. One more. And you get a few of these, about 20 I think in the pack. All right, so here we are. Up the top. Yeah. Get another bit of pork mince, I think, there. Always remember, over the top, and then, so it depends on how fat you want the spring rolls. Let me just show you. So that's a fat one. Let's do a thinner one, just so you can see. Okay, once again, point facing me, 59. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread them along a little bit more, okay? So instead of clumping it, I've spread them out a little bit. Let's roll it up. So which way would you like it? So there's the thinner ones, and they're the fatter ones. How's that? You can't see it, Bill? There we are. Okay, so there's my little fatty ones, and there's the thinner sort of one. So it depends on how you like to do your spring rolls. They're more of an entree thing, or as you say, you could have, you make 12, so you could have a few for lunch if you were doing that, or as party food, they're fabulous as well. All right, I'm going to finish them off. I'll get back to you when the oven's beeping, and you can see how they look without frying. Hello. Okay, see you soon. The oven's beeping at me. That tells me, oh yes, in my belly. Woohoo! So I did 6 chubby ones and 6 thin ones. So there they are. You can see they come up beautiful and crispy. And they will just go down an absolute treat wherever you want to serve them. Might do it like that. Oh, crispy, golden, fabulous. Let me just cut one in half for you. Oh yes, feel the crunch. And there it is. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So there, that'll be my one. So just remember, you can still enjoy all the things you love. I'm sure you'll find there's always recipes that I've done that you would not believe. Hello, simply too good to be true. So let's look at this. So what do you win? Well, of course you want to win this book, don't you, that the spring rolls are in. So that's book 3. You've got a chance to win that, and I'll personally sign it. But I'm also going to throw in, because I'm generous this year, I'm going to throw in 1 each of the flavours. So you're going to get the creamy vanilla, the iced coffee, the dairy-free vanilla, and the wicked chocolate as a sample to try as well. So there you go. Now all you have to do to win is go like, share, and then in the comments, hashtag simply too good. I'm going to pick 3 people, and just remember, it's not too late to join the 6-week spring weight loss challenge. It starts on Monday the 16th of October. You've got to be there. Let me help you change everything, get ready for summer. Go to simplytogood.com.au/membership. Now next week's show, it's going to be great because I think we're going to be dusting off the barbecue if you haven't already done it. So I'm going to be making 3 different sauces to go on steak or chicken or whatever you put on the barbie. I'm going to be doing 3. Diane, got to bring the good old garlic Diane back. Pepper, who doesn't love pepper steak, pepper sauce, and mushroom. So I'm going to make the 3 of them on next week's show. So join me then. Don't forget, go to simplytogood.com.au/shop if you want to look at anything else. Now there you go. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? 0.5 grams of fat. Yeah. Spring rolls. Booyah! Done and dusted. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.